We are pretty much a third of the way through the L Word Generation Q season 3, and today we're going to be going over what's still to come in episodes 4 through 10. We're going to go through each episode and we're going to take things from the trailers, pictures, things from set, behind the scenes, and mix it all together to see if we can come up with some of the opinions and predictions for season 3. Of course, there will be like spoilery stuff in here, but a lot of this is just my opinion and some predictions. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to go through episode by episode like I normally do. So episode 4, I'm pretty sure most people know that this is going to be the Halloween episode, the first time there's ever going to be any sort of holiday in the L Word. I think this is going to confuse the timeline even more because, as I talked about on Drinks at Dana's, the timeline is all kinds of fucked up already. They have had a week pass by in episodes 1, 2, and 3, but also it's been about 3 months, so they just really can't seem to nail this timeline down. So episode 4, Halloween, and we're also gonna have Kehlani in this episode again. I think this is probably gonna be her last episode. I'm not 100% on that though, just matching up like when she was filming and all of that stuff. So episode 4 is also, it seems, gonna be where Tess finds out about Ivy. And we have seen that bit in the trailer where Tess is throwing the water at Shane. And what I think is that Tess is going to find out here. And then in that season, coming up on this season trailer, we saw Tess like breaking down and where she says to Shane, you have a funny way of like showing that you love me.
I do love you. You have a really funny way of showing it, Shane.
And the outfits that they're wearing match pictures from episode 5, but I'll talk more about that in a sec. So we also know that in episode 4, Danny's friend from middle school, I think it's going to be, comes, and that's the person at the beginning of the trailer where Sophie says to Finley, oh, they're going to end up in jail again.
Happy Halloween, bitch! They're gonna end up in jail.
Maybe we're gonna get some sort of clarification about Danny and what happened there in this episode because of that reference, but who knows? It could be also in the L Word black hole. And this person was actually supposed to be played by Demi Lovato. I've said this a few times now. I don't know what happened, but in some of the notes and stuff, it still says about Demi Lovato because there is gonna be a scene. Well, there's supposed to be a scene. They could have cut it for time, of course, but there's supposed to be some sort of scene where they're singing like the Spice Girls Wannabe, and there was like a lot of discussion around whether they needed to get some sort of, you know, signage for Demi to be able to sing like on the show. So it will be interesting how they play this. I don't know whether the character is called Roxy, and I don't know whether Roxy is gonna stick around for the rest of the season. It definitely seems as though she's in at least another episode, judging by the trailers and stuff, but that could just be like trailer trickery as well, and she could just be here for this one episode. Also, there is an OG returning in this episode, so that will definitely be interesting to see and catch up with this person. I hope we get, you know, a good couple of scenes to see what's gone on since the original to now. But moving into episode 5, Locked Out, we did get some pictures from this, as I mentioned before, you know, the ones that come out on the press site. And judging by the outfits that Shane and Tess are wearing, they seem to be on their balcony, and that's when they seem to be splitting up, judging by the conversation in the trailer. I mean, I'm really kind of leaping there with the logic, but I think that's what's happening if in fact Tess does find out about Ivy in the previous episode. Also in episode 5, I think that this is the episode that Leisha Haley isn't in. Again, this is just me guessing and using context clues, but from everything that I've seen, and also I went back through social media because, you know, always got to have the handy dandy board that has all the bits and pieces and social media stuff lined into it. And I don't see any evidence that Leisha Haley was on set for episode 5. But again, it could be that she's not in these pictures, or they just didn't post that week on social media. But we do know that her and Kate are both missing an episode this season, and it does seem to be differing episodes. So moving into episode 6, Questions for the Universe. This is going to be a really big episode. And as I've mentioned a lot, when I was on set, this was the episode that everybody talked about. And I don't mean just like, you know, the writers and the cast. This was like everybody was telling me about this episode. Wardrobe, makeup, everybody. And everyone seemed to quote this as their favorite episode from the season.
But we had a really fun scene out here that we filmed, and then we also filmed in this street. A very interesting. It's so funny, I totally forgot about episode 6.
Yeah.
Episode 6
That's
is
what
insane.
me and Marcia said our favorite was.
So we filmed in the street here. We filmed all over. Everyone's gonna lose their shit for episode 6.
I know.
Oh my god, it's like the
know.
most insane thing ever.
You're gonna love it.
I'm like 2, 6, 10. Like, oh my god.
I was
it's so
surprised
dumb.
you didn't say it. I was like, really?
So episode 6 is going to be, I don't know whether you can classify it as a musical episode, because I don't know how many musical numbers there are in this. There is dancing, there is singing. And from what I have gathered from social media, like even IMDb way back when they were filming, there seems to be that they go to some sort of shaman. And as you can see in the trailer where Alice and Shane nearly kiss, the Gen Q people are all with them too, like Danny, Sophie, Finley, Micah. And it seems they take like ayahuasca or something like that. And as we know in the trailer, like Alice and Shane say, or Alice says, I'm really high. And I think that this musical stuff all happens in Alice's head, because I'm guessing that they gave Leisha Haley like the majority of the music stuff, because one, like she's a professional singer, and I'm not sure about the rest of the cast, like how great they are with, I'm sure some of them are good singers, but I don't know if it's everybody's strong suit. And I will say one of the songs is there's heavy cat mention, so that's probably going to be my favorite moment, so I'm really excited to see that. And also there is an OG favorite returning in this episode that I think people will be really happy to see. Episode 7, Little Boxes, is the episode where Rosie and Misty are gonna go on their bowling thing. I don't know whether it's the same bowling thing that got set up in episode 3, but we definitely know there's bowling going down in this episode, because of course we got that tease from Marcia Lewis Ryan on her Instagram with the bowling ball, and then we know that Rosie had that bowling shirt on, that the scene is so significant that the crew members actually made that bowling shirt their like crew shirt for season 3, and instead of obviously the bowling team, they put the L Word Generation Q season 3 on it. My kind of guess on this is that we're going to see like a hookup, I don't know to what extent, between Rosie and Misty, because that would kind of be breaking a new barrier on the L Word. So I'm looking forward to seeing what is going down in this episode, as we have had it teased for a while now. Just throwing in a wild guess here, I don't really have any evidence to support this, because it's just a guess, but I'm thinking that because there seems to be like Rosie's in this episode, Misty, and there may be stuff going on with like other guest stars or characters, I think that this could possibly be the episode that Kate's missing from, but that is just purely a shot in the dark, because obviously she's not missing from episode 5, 6, 8 is the only other one that she could be missing from, and it just would seem to line up a bit more because she directed episode 9. Then she would probably need to be doing like some of the prep, because they normally film like 2 episodes at a time, so that would be like a light lighter load for her at that time if she's only filming 8 as opposed to 7 and 8. Episode 8, quality family time. A lot of people have asked me about this one because I think a lot of people were thinking that Bette and Tina were going to be in this episode, but I think the quality family time actually refers to the fact that we're going to see Thanksgiving in this episode. Again, this is another pure guess, but it has to be this episode, I think, judging on just, I mean, I shouldn't quote judging on the timeline because the timeline's fucking everywhere, but because of what I know is going down in episodes 9 and 10 in relation to the time it is, that it makes sense that this is Thanksgiving as well, because we know that that's not happening in 6, and the bowling thing, I think, kind of rules out episode 7. So stay with me here. I know I'm going off on a weird thing, but I promise it makes sense. It makes sense to me anyway. So Thanksgiving, it seems to be at Dana's, judging by that split-second clip we got in one of the trailers.
Thought you were dating other people.
And there's also, I think, going to be the return of Tom in this episode.
I think we'd miss out on something real. Should we try again?
Again, it could be episode 7 because there's such a fine line. They're normally filming, as I said, like 2 episodes at once, and 7 and 8 seem to have bleeded into each other a lot. So Tom could come in 7, but I think it's episode 8. And we do have that Thanksgiving thing then. So episode 9, Quiet Before the Storm. And what sort of storm do they have in store for us? Because episode 9 is obviously, thank the lesbian gods, the return of Bette and Tina. And we're gonna see the rehearsal lead up to what's gonna go down with Bette and Tina in the finale. Personally, I still don't see how they're going to bridge this gap, because again, I'm sure most people have heard me say this, but I believe that there is going to be a wedding for Bette and Tina in the finale. I've said this for months, and I just don't know how they go from, okay, the 22nd of September, we know, is when Bette ran through the traffic and all that stuff. Thanksgiving is episode 8. So this is taking place, and judging by also decorations that I saw when I was on set, it's not like they've skipped forward to summertime. They could technically skip forward another year, I guess, but it seems to be just after Thanksgiving, like winter time. I just don't know how they go from Bette and Tina not being on screen to they come back engaged, or I don't know, maybe they get engaged in episode 9. That's what I'm more leaning towards, because I think that people would feel real shafted if we didn't see the engagement. I do know there is a phone call with Bette at some stage before episode 9. Again, they can cut and delete these scenes, but I think they would keep that in as like a touchstone to Bette and Tina being in Toronto. So if I had to put money down and guess, I would think that Bette and Tina get engaged in 9, but that is such a fast move to be getting married. And I know that, like, obviously they have buckets of money and people are always like, oh, things are booked out and this and that, but baby, you have money, you can do whatever you want. So I think that they could like make this happen, and I'm just really like going deeply into thinking about this here. Like, there could be some convoluted storyline where they're like, oh, the only day we have available is Christmas or something like that. So I am really interested to see what happens. I think no matter what they do, it's going to be fast. And I think that is what a lot of people, like, the only real complaint that people have about episodes 1 and 2 when it comes to the Bette and Tina stuff is that, like, we went from 2 years of sweet fuck all to like literally 2 episodes where it was like boom, 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 boom. Episode 9 at Dana's, there's going to be some sort of rehearsal, and then episode 10, looking ahead. As I mentioned a while ago when the episode titles came out, I think this is a nod to Bette and Tina's episode where we found out how they first met, and it's called Looking Back. This is looking ahead, because I think this will be their final episode, this tying their storyline up in a bow, and they will literally walk off into the sunset together. We have seen that little split second clip from the trailer. I think that it is Bette and Tina, like one of the last scenes that we'll see of them. If not, I mean, that would be cool if they put that in the trailer. I'm hoping there's going to be some sort of like callback to the porch scene. That would be really nice, and I think that people would really, really get a kick out of that. So hopefully there's something like that. But I mean, we can't be too greedy. Like we're getting like a Bette and Tina wedding, so we just need to be happy with that. What goes down at this wedding? Because there's little things here and there that I know, like there is some hookups that you are not going to see coming in the finale, and there is a ton of guest stars. We do know quite a lot of them already, but there is some surprises. There is a super OG favorite, at least one that I know of, coming to the finale as well. And I mean, that's such a great way to bring in people, you know, having them at the wedding. I'm assuming that's also why the press secretary was on set, like she was a guest at the wedding. So again, that's just like a guess. And also, one of my requests for the wedding would be, please, can we see Bette's mom? I mean, I feel really gypped out of that storyline because I would have really have liked to have seen that. And, you know, Bette did all that off screen, so I hope that we at least get like a little scene with her mom in the finale, but it could just be that there's too much going on in the finale. I am curious to see what they're gonna do with like the Gen Qers, because I have heard of that, like a lot of them are at the wedding. I don't know if every single one of them is, but I definitely know that I just don't know how they're gonna do that, because like, how is Micah gonna come to Bette and Tina's wedding? Like, so I don't know what they're gonna do there, but I'm sure they'll like incorporate some way, like maybe Danny does the event and she like ropes them in to help her. This is really like shots in the dark here, so who knows if that will happen. I'm really excited to see what happens. I'm sure there will be some drama. I have spoken about a life-changing fridge freezer walk-in scene that's coming, so keep your eyes peeled for that, and you'll know it when you see it. And that was the whole clue that I did, that all relates to that. The one request that I made on my live stream last night is that pretty much right now, like within the next week or so, they are going to be mixing and finishing the episodes, like finishing all the editing for 9 and 10. Please, lesbian gods, please turn the lights on, push that hair out of the face. Please, can we see just like one good actual like romantic moment that we can see? There's no hair, there's no darkness, and no cutting away, no shaky like just tripod lights. I want to see it. So hopefully that's what we get in the finale. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be stuff that we do not expect. I'm sure it won't be all sunshine and chocolate and rainbows, as Jennifer Beals said at that San Francisco event. It is the L word, so don't expect everything to run smoothly. But I am so excited to see what's coming. And I know, like the Jennifer, Seppi, and Laurel thing, I'm not gonna lie, like the next couple of episodes, they're gonna be weird. It's gonna be difficult. And I said on my live last night, I don't know quite why they haven't released the news about Seppi. The only conclusion I can draw is that they are trying to hide the fact that she's not going to be in the rest of the episodes, because again, like Seppi is a huge draw to the show. Like people love Danny and Gigi, they love Gigi. So I think that they're trying to just like get people to check every week if she's coming back. But I mean, who knows? They could pull some crazy like twist and she's in another episode, but I have never heard any, and again, like I don't know everything, of course I don't, and I just haven't heard anything about it, and I heard that she was gone. I told the story on my live stream last night about how I found out when I was on set. So the live stream I left up for everyone if they want to go and watch it, because it's part of the advent calendar, so I didn't want to put it behind the members thing. But yeah, I mean, I think that this will hopefully end things in a good way, and we do for once get our happy ending. I just hope that they can deliver. I feel like the next couple of episodes are going to be a whirlwind, roller coaster, tornado, all mixed together. So we'll just have to wait and see. I would love to know everyone's opinions, thoughts, feelings on the season so far and what you think is going to happen. Make sure that if you want to win a ton of L Word goodies, that you enter my advent calendar draw. All you have to do is be a subscriber and comment on this video, and you can enter every day if you comment on that day's video. So make sure you're subscribed to stay up to date with everything. Follow me over on social media and check out my Patreon, merch store, all that good stuff linked down below. And as always, make sure to stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.